Ever since Thanksgiving, so many people have come up to me and said, "Happy holidays." And every time someone says that to me, I'm right back to them, "Happy holidays to you too." But there's something inside me that feels a little bit like a fraud when I say that. Because for me, the holidays really don't start. The Christmas holiday doesn't start until December 24th, when this cathedral is filled with thousands and thousands of people. Until then, we're in the season of Advent. Now for Christians, that's the first 3 or 4 weeks of the new year, and it's the time between now and Christmas. And Advent is a very interesting holiday. It's not about waiting for Christmas to come. Instead, it's waiting for the end of the world. That we believe that the way we anticipate the end of the world shapes who we are now and changes who we are now. And so we are waiting for that end when there's justice on the planet. So now I want to talk a little bit about 3 kinds of Christmas waiting so I can describe what Advent is a little bit better through that. So first of all, there's waiting for a secular Christmas. And all of us know people who are doing that. People who are hoping that people spend lots of money over Christmas so that the economy does better, or they're hoping that they'll get a Christmas bonus, or perhaps they're hoping that the Christmas party won't be too embarrassing this year. Some people actually are thinking a lot about nostalgia. They're kind of wishing for a kind of return in their hearts to a kind of innocence that they experienced when they were children during Christmas. And that's a different kind of waiting for Christmas. But all those are such small potatoes compared to what Advent is about, which is like cosmic justice and righteousness, God making everything right. The Spanish philosopher Miguel de Unamuno was a 20th century writer, and in the 1930s, he wrote this. He said, "The visible universe strikes me as too narrow. It is like an over-small cage against whose bars my soul beats its wings. The thirst for eternity is called love." And that's what he's saying, is that we're not satisfied by a secular world because we're spiritual beings. We're not satisfied for a materialism because we're made for love. The second kind of waiting for Christmas I want to talk about is a kind of fundamentalist approach. Now you might hear fundamentalist Christians talking about the rapture, a time when all the good people are taken away and separated from all the bad people and taken to another world, and the bad people are left to fight it out among themselves. And for me, there's almost nothing that could be more false than this. Jesus over and over tells us that you're never going to know. You're never going to know, when these things are going to happen. You're never going to know when the world is about to come. Jesus says you have to be prepared. You have to be a loving and kind person and prepared for anything that's going to happen. But he doesn't give instructions about how that's going to be. Now, I oftentimes think that, in the old days, they used to have the bumper sticker that says, "In the event of the rapture, this car will be driverless." And now that we have driverless cars, I thought I'd stick that sticker on all of them. And then there'd be the sign of the rapture all over the place. So if you ever see a driverless car with a rapture sticker on it, then you know that I was involved in that somehow. So the third way of waiting I want to talk about is the Advent way of waiting. Now, when you're talking about the end of the world, when you're talking about God making injustices right, when you talk about the invisible God that we cannot see or experience becoming visible in God's entirety, that is what we're talking about. And when you wait for that, when you wait for God to bring justice on the earth, then you almost can't help yourself but be changed yourself. You change into a person of hope. You're changed into a person who tries to bring about that righteousness in our own acts, and our own kindness, and our own commitment to love, and our own commitment to eradicating such terrible inequality in this country and in the world. But that, for me, is what Advent is about. Advent is lighting the candles on the Advent wreath. It's about reading readings from the great prophets through history of the Jewish people and of the Christian people. And it's a time of beginning to understand what it is that we really long for, and how we can begin to long for what God longs for. My name is Malcolm Clemens Young. I'm the Dean of Grace Cathedral here in San Francisco, California. Thanks for watching More Good News.